Hello, welcome to my 8th devlog. Today's focus class is on perk systems. So Fallout is a franchise that's very dear to my heart, and I really love how that series handled its perks in its older games. Bloody Mess is a staple that blows every enemy you encounter into beautiful red confetti like it's a birthday party, and Wild Wasteland is a trade of New Vegas that brings out the goofiest side of the wasteland. Hollow Knight also has a great perk system. I think they're called notches in that game. I always loved the perks that let me expand the distance of my nail. They really just opened up a lot of possibilities in the game that let you have a little bit of build customization, and I think that just makes the game a lot more fun, interesting, and replayable. Hollow Knight lets you have a certain number of perks depending on how far you get in the game, and I think I'm going to do something a little bit similar. And that brings me to my topic today. I'm going to be focusing on a new perk system and a character which helps you unlock perks around the world. So in my last devlog, I showed off these new secret areas that you can get to by finding these portals that are located around my world. And these portals take you to certain challenge areas that usually are going to revolve around platforming. At the end of these areas, there is going to be some kind of unlockable, which might be rosary beads, which, once you've collected enough of them, that is. I think I'm going to have you collect about 4 of them every time you want to get a new health point. There's also going to be tears, or tear shards, that up the amount of prayers you can do, which are like the healing animations that you might see throughout my devlogs. And I think there's also going to be these artifact kind of things, which act as perks in my game. So you have to take these artifacts to this new NPC. For now, I just named him Vincent, mostly just because I like the name. I'm not sure if I like it on him specifically though, so I guess I'll just see how I feel about it later on. He acts as the hub world's historian. He's from Purgatory and has a wide knowledge on the different realms from heaven to hell. Character-wise, he's kind of like Bug's opposite. He's a lot more deadpan, low energy. He's a gentle giant who wears a big poncho, which further exaggerates his silhouette. Most of the time he just spends chilling in the hub world, reading until you come by. You might be asking me right now why he has such a strange mask on. Well, long story short, he was greedy in life, and one of his punishments was to wear a pig mask of shame for all of his days in Purgatory. Since he's seeking redemption in the Temple of Redemption, he begrudgingly still wears it. In some ways, I actually feel like world building has been the theme for this devlog so far. I did a lot of background planning for stuff that I want to do with Purgatory. Like there's a settlement or civilization that I want to start hinting at through the dialogue and item descriptions. And I have a pretty good idea for what I want it to turn into. I'm pretty happy with the stuff I thought of so far. So maybe I'll start working on that soon. As for the stuff that you can identify with Vincent, one of my favorite things so far is actually this arrowhead. So I'm thinking of having the humans in my world be very industrious. They have to have some kind of technology advantage to combat against like demons and angels, so I gotta buff them somehow. So I'm making them pretty crafty with their weaponry and their abilities. In this case, this item is like an arrowhead that has a special purpose. So humans in my world discovered that angels have special regenerative properties in their blood. And they found out that if they were to acquire some angel blood, then they can use it themselves for medicinal and recreational purposes. So, in Purgatory, there's somewhat of a black market trying to get their hands on this blood. Saying this out loud now makes me think it's kind of ridiculous, but I was very happy about it when I wrote it. This artifact, this arrowhead, helps them siphon angel blood, which they can then sell for a big profit to their fellow humans in Purgatory. So the first artifact that you get actually is a gift directly from Vincent. He had this jar, like a soul in a jar, that was just sitting on his desk, and he decided to give it to you because he figured you could get some use out of it. And it's kind of like a hidden difficulty option in a way, because it helps you find secrets in the world. And players who might be better at finding secrets on their own might decide to just pick a perk that helps them more, which I always like that kind of thing in games. I know Dark Souls is like the king of doing that, or like certain builds just naturally are a little bit more challenging or easier than others, and I want to do a lot of that in this game because I definitely prefer that over rigid, just easy and hard modes. So when you actually equip this Soul in a Jar, it'll have these kind of like purple indicators around secrets that make it a lot more obvious that a secret is there, and it'll give you like an indicator of where to go to find the secret. I'm thinking of also having some kind of like subtle beep noise, something in the UI that beeps up or lights up that shows you that something is definitely nearby, kind of like in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, where Link can have that beep on his tablet thing that shows him where shrines are nearby. But I'm a little worried that might get a little too annoying and just too easy to find secrets. I don't know. I'll play around with it and see what people think. I also decided to give Raphaela somewhat of a makeover. I moved her into Substance Painter and I gave her some new textures. Her clothes and skin are a lot more detailed now. She has a few new emotions to play with. She has like a laughing and a sad emotion that I can use in cutscenes, and I think it makes her a lot more expressive now. I definitely think Substance Painter was the way to go, and it's been huge for productivity for making characters. Previously I was just giving characters a lot of flat colors, not really because I liked it, just because it was easy when I didn't really have any proper texturing software. But I think everything is looking a lot better on the character design side now. The only issue I'm seeing sometimes is the lighting in certain scenes is difficult to get right. Like sometimes on Raphaela it doesn't look quite great, sometimes on Bug it doesn't look great either. But I think that's really just a lot of tweaking that I need to do to see what looks good, and just a lot of values I need to play around with. For what I think I'm going to work on in the next few weeks is I'm going to take notes of certain parts of my world that don't feel quite right or feel like there could be a little more depth to. I'm also noticing that for Metroidvania there's not as much backtracking as I would have hoped for, so I'm going to go to some previous areas and have some sections that you need to go back to. These are probably mostly going to be optional, like some health upgrades or prayer upgrades that you can collect by going back with certain weapons that have movement mechanics that allow you to get to these locations. So I'm definitely going to go through these areas and see where I can improve and make them a little bit more Metroidvania-like. For the demo that I wanted to release soon, I wanted to work on the sewer level, but honestly I might make that just an area that you need to access later. The forest level definitely needs some work. It needs a lot more decoration, functionality, enemy placement, and it needs a boss to end off Heaven with, because that's probably going to be the last area in Heaven that you see for a while. There's still areas in Heaven that you can explore, but you're probably going to have to come back to them later once you have different movement mechanics. Most notably the final area, which I need to do some placeholder art for, like I want to have a big castle in the background. I also added a new secret area, which is actually where you get the new Arrowhead artifact. I'm also going to add a bunch of these when I go through my combing over the world and fleshing out the different areas there. So I think that about wraps it up for this devlog. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching when this video was released, then happy holidays, and I hope to see you at the next devlog. Thank you so much for watching. I would love if you leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. Thank you.